Hai, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera to Prof. Dr. Sabrina. So we are group from Step Tracker. So let's meet our team. First is me, Nur Adila. Next, Husnina Farzana. Next, Nur Faiza. And the last is Nur Afrina. Our team members will explain for each milestone 1, 2, 3 and milestone 4. Hi, I'm Adila. This is milestone 1 about management project. In management project, I will explain more detail about software project description, Gantt chart, and task delegation. So why our group chose Step Tracker apps for our project? It is because a step tracker is a digital tool using smartphone that calculate the user walking distance and step count in a specific time frame. Generally, the apps track your step per day and store information in the apps itself for further monitoring. In other words, it is the most accurate and simple step tracker that automatically track user daily step, calorie burn, walking distance, duration, health data, and display it easily. So, how the step tracker works? Every time the user walks, the body tilts to a side as the user put a leg forward. It's happens when we keep walking and keep movement. The pedometer or your smartphone count every step for every tilt of the head. So, yeah. So this is the Gantt chart for step tracker apps. So the first activity is project management activity. Take around 1 until 2 weeks. After done this activity, we continue to project analysis in week 3 until week 4. And the next is project design and development. This activity take a bit long time, week 5 until week 9. And after done this activity, we continue to project evaluation and implementation on week 10 until 11. And the last is project presentation and final report on week 13 until 14. Task delegation. First is we have a project manager. What is project manager? Project manager is the person who supervises the development process. Project manager also generate idea, manage pricing policy, plus control and plan the task this project. Next, we have a software engineers. Software engineers mostly collaborate with other teams members such as designer, tester, and product engineer, and other core team members. Next, we must have a project design and development activity. Their responsible members are designers who make sure that the browsing experience and features are accessible for users. Designers deal with the layout and visual design, where font, color, forms, sound, and animation. And the last for this project, we must have a tester. Tester need to handle the manual part of the testing stage, reflecting a user operating habit and patterns.
In milestone 2 analysis has use case diagram, flow of event and sequence diagram. The use case diagram for step tracker has a user that can location check, calculate distance and time, and also daily step recorded in step tracker application. In this slide, there is flow of event and the sequence diagram for use case ID1, which is location check in step tracker application. The user need to open the step tracker apps, and after that, the app will data request to app service, which is lead to get the location data in data server. Data server need to request Google Maps with the Google Maps API. Soon, user can check the location and display the location that user wants. In this slide, there is flow of event and the sequence diagram for use case ID2, which is calculate distance and time in step tracker application. The user needs to enter weight and height in the step tracker apps, and then the app will calculate the BMI and will find route in detail for the distance and time. It will lead to data server and will reserve route detail in step tracker apps. If it's valid, user need to choose which route in step tracker apps. User need to start timer, and within that, the app will calculate the BMI between the distance and time, and after that, the apps will display the time taken and save the time detail. If else, user need to insert new route in between the step tracker apps and the data server to save the route detail. User start timer and the apps will calculate the time and display the time taken. App will save the time detail. In this slide, there is flow of event and the sequence diagram for use case ID3, which is daily step recorded in step tracker application. The user needs to click date and time in the step tracker app to find the route to get the step details. The app services will verify the date record in step record and show the detailed daily step record.
Hi, my name is Nurul Afrina binti Muhammad Shamsuddin, and I will be presenting Milestone 3, the architecture and design. I will be explaining about the software architecture, the class diagram. The software architecture for step tracker, the client-server architecture. The server, which is the step tracker system, will be connected via internet and received by the client. The client will be connected via internet and the data will be saved in the CDN. The GPS will track the location of the client and receive the data by the server, and it will be saved in the database. The class diagram for step tracker. First class is login. The data type for username is string, and then the password is undefined. The functions are success and real attempt. The next class is user. The data type of step tracker is string, and then the BMI is string. The connect device is also string. The functions are choose. The third is device. The data type for footstep is string. The BMI calculate is integer. The functions are collect, store, and display. Fourth is step tracker. The data type for the root tracker is string, and BMI is string. The functions are add step, calculate BMI, show step, history, and activity tracker. Last one, the class is BMI. The data type for height is integer, and for weight is integer too. The functions are add height, add weight, and calculate BMI.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Faiza and I'll be presenting milestone 4, which is testing. First, we test for the login negative page. We need to launch the application first, which is successful. And then we need to test for the invalid email, which proved to be a pass since it stopped the login attempt. Then we test for the invalid password, which is a pass too since it stopped the invalid login attempt. Next, we need to test for the login page. First, we need to launch the application, which is successful. Then we need to enter a valid email and password, and then hit the login button. This is proved to be a pass since we can log in successfully. Now we test for profile BMI. No matter if the user entered their correct height or weight, the calculation is still proven to be successful as they calculate according to the user input. Lastly, we test for the record step tracker. First, we test for the record button on the step tracker, which is successful. And then we test for the record button when the user does not turn on their location, which is also successful. Next, we test if the application shows the health data of the user, which is successful since the data is shown successfully. And that is all from us. Thank you.